And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's October 14th. It's Tuesday. It's 2025. Hope you're having a good day. In case you don't know, this would be serious talk on everything that affects you. And I got to tell you, it seems like every day something of importance comes out when it comes to you and everything that affects you. And we say that because I don't know if you realize it. We have never been in a moment, in a time, where the few have so much power over the masses. And I'm not talking about, the left say Trump's dictator and an autocrat. I'm talking about, as a whole, the ability for all of them to interfere with the free flow of business and the markets. You don't believe me? We will talk that. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. We'll also post it on the Biz TV YouTube channel. And if you'd like to email us, just be nice. And when I say you don't believe me, we have to be a little bit cynical today. We have to be introspective and really think about just what is going on here and what are the outcomes. You see, as we have told you, and I mean this, if I was the President of the United States, central bank, what the hell's that? If I was the President of the United States, low taxes, get rid of onerous regulations, shut the border, but allow immigrants to come in and make it, where they don't have to spend 10 years trying to come in, because we need immigrants, but legally. Fight crime, make crime pay, meaning we just saw a guy that was arrested 33 times, some for violent crimes, just murder a woman. And now he'll be put in the jail forever, but 33 times. And then get out of the way. But today, let me tell you what I mean by they continue to take over. And I mean this administration also. As much as I love the President of the United States, they're taking over. Let me explain today, just today. Symbol NVA. NVA. You've never heard of it because I've never heard of it. It's called Nova Minerals. They've never had any sales. They are a development stage mining company. That's all they are. It was up 110% today to $71.84. It had been rallying in recent days before the announcement today. Do you know what the announcement was today? The announcement was today that the company has engaged with talks with the President of the United States on critical minerals. Critical minerals. The stock was moving the last week, though, causing us to ask the question, who knew? But that's not my main point here. Again, this stock, the mining of critical minerals, the president, because they've been talking about taking positions in companies. What? Our government taking positions in companies? What the hell's with that? But my point is, this one was up 110% today, but we also know the government just took a position in another no-sales mining company recently that went from 3 to 10. And that one has a $2 billion market cap with no sales. This one, by the way, traded 9 million shares today, and there's only 6 million in the float. But I digress. They've also said symbol TMQ, which has gone from $2 to 10.5. Position with that, another mining company. I'm asking the question, what the hell's going on here? Oh, they're telling us, oh, we need to do this. And well, stay the hell out of the way. Don't take a position. You're the government. These are private companies. What the hell's going on here? And then there are about 30 others where there have been no announcements. Here's one that went from 7 to 30 in the last 6 days. All in the exploration. They have nothing. Which has me telling you, there's no way all these companies are going to be doing this, that, and the other thing. And we're telling you at the end of this road, what happens to these stocks that have no sales? They all crash. What is going on here? They take a position in Intel. We find out there was a bunch of buying before they took the position. What is going on here? Oh, but I'm not done. Excuse me. At 3:40 today, more threats, and the market took a dump into the close. I'll get the final numbers in a bit. But everything's a threat on us. I got to sit down with the president somehow, because these tariffs, we're getting the boot. Thus my point on, they're taking over. They're taking over. You got these massive tariffs proposed, and it's already out there, that are being put upon our companies. Apple paid $1.9 billion and had to bend the knees in order to get exempt. What? This is not supposed to happen. They're taking over. But I'm not done. They're running $2.5 trillion deficit now this year. That's the run rate. And of course, it may be a little bit up or down from there. What? Our whole federal government in the early 2000s spent that much. And now that's the deficit. And we can't blame Biden because this administration had well, of course we can blame Biden. He got it to the $2 trillion. But this administration had a chance to roll a bunch of it back, and they didn't whiff. They didn't try. Up next, where else? This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, every day we are running a $6 to $7 billion deficit on spending from this government, and they don't give a crap. They're taking over. They're doing anything they want to do. There's no we the people. It's we them. We the them. We the government. They're not supposed to be doing that, and they've normalized it throughout the years. Biden supersized it, and this administration did nothing about it when they had the chance and promised to. Let me go further. What are our tax dollars supposed to do? Bueller, anybody? Well, let's see. Schools, streets, roads, bridges, airports, the grid, the military, firefighters, policemen. What else? You got more of a list. But no, 1.2 trillion of it is going towards interest because of what they put us into. Think about that. In the year 2000, our total federal spending was 1.8, and 1.2 trillion this year is going towards interest. And do you wonder why I can't stand either one of these parties? And on this note, President Trump is a gargantuan disappointment on this. Gargantuan because of the promises and the ability they had to roll a bunch of it back. They had it. So they're taking over industries, they're taking over companies, they're taking positions in companies. They're starting companies in crypto and making billions off it while they're promoting crypto. You got Biden, who him and his family about as corrupt can be, and the media drowned it out. His son was selling paintings for $250,000, which was pure payoffs. He pardoned the family for their crookery. You got people like Stacey Abrams that took a $2 billion for a conjured up NGO, non-government organization that doesn't pay taxes for climate when she knows nothing about it just because she knew Biden. They're taking over. And you know who's going to end up holding the bag? You and I. Oh, not me, because I'm not going to buy any of these companies that are going rocket ship north. But the very unwary people that think, oh, boy, I got to get on top of this one. Oh, yeah. Oh, whoa, it just went from 6 to 30. I'm not going to miss it if it goes to... They're all going to crash. Eventually. So I'm sitting there watching this today. Another one of these, the president taking a position. I'm like, what the? And I didn't say what the heck. I said a different word. And then I watch it go up 100%, and they have nothing. They haven't even drilled the ground. And then we got a government shutdown, and they're fighting over spending, even though we're already going to have $2.5 trillion of spending. And don't get me started on Schumer and the Dems. And just remember, the worst president ever, times 10 was Biden because he didn't care about you one iota. At least Trump fights crime and defends the country. Biden didn't even defend the country. He left it wide open. Yeah, come on in. And we'll send you on an airplane at 2 a.m. to that city, and they'll pay for it. Oh, and by the way, they're going to house you, food you, health care you. And you know who's going to pay for it? Not me. So I'm a little bit miffed today. Because if I was president, none of this crap is happening. And I watch the Republicans and the Marxist Party fighting over a government shutdown. I'm thinking to myself, up yours. You're running $2.5 trillion deficits brought to you by all of you, and you're trying to tell us, oh, by the way, the government, it's not shut down. But I feel for people. Do you know people are not getting their paychecks and still working? I believe they're coming up with something to pay the military. Imagine working and knowing you're not getting a paycheck. You're eventually going to get it, but maybe in a couple of weeks. So just in one day today, more threats of taxes on us, another $6-7 billion added to our debt, another conversation with a private company that is absolutely freaking nothing, and we can see the trading in it over the last week or so. Volume picked up, and it was sneaky up, and today it's up 100%, and there'll be no investigation on the insider trading that is so damn obvious. They're taking over. So I'm miffed. That's all. I'm miffed. And you should be too. Because they don't care. But I love this president. What he did for Israel and the Jewish state and against the universities. Love it. And it wasn't the greatest deal. But he got the hostages back. I don't like that they had to settle for a bunch of murderers going back over there. But they did get the hostages, and I think the Arab countries are getting together, and hopefully something good's going to come of it. And of course, as we told you, because we're good at this, they ain't getting rid of their arms. You know what Hamas is doing now? They already came out and said, we're not getting rid of the arms. And the president's now threatening them after. And you know what Hamas is doing? They're murdering on video, in plain sight, Palestinians in Gaza that they believe screwed them. There's videos. And you know who's not showing those videos or even talking about them? The media. You know why? Because they suck. You know, there's a line about they are the enemy. I've never said that, but you know what? They're getting there. Up next, today's market. And we'll put a bow tie on what we just talked about. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So I'm miffed. And you should be too. You have to remember something. We have no bias, agenda, or ulterior motive. We just want them out of our way so we can do great things. And they're not. And it's getting worse. I don't want the government taking positions in companies. I don't want them doing that. I don't want them dealing with companies. Oh, by the way, if you do what we want, we'll not tariff you. We don't think the president should have that power. It's insanity. And under the heading, be careful what you wish for, imagine when a Marxist is in the White House and he has that tax power. Look out below. Excuse me. Do you know what Gavin Newsom, if he became president, is going to do with those tariffs? He's going to stick them up your you-know-what and give you one big, gigantic tariff colonoscopy. And if you think I'm kidding, go look what California's taxing the citizens there. Go look at the numbers. Go look at their gas tax. Yet President Trump has left that wide open that in 3 years, 3+ years, if a Bernie Sanders type, or not even a Bernie Sanders type, gets a hold of the presidency and the House and the Senate. And by the way, if you don't think that can happen, I got some Everglades land for you. Do you know what they're going to do with their newfound tariff power created by this president? We're screwed. Any of you thought of that? So I'm miffed today by seeing what I'm seeing. And I'm pissed off about it. While we have a government shutdown. With it, and of course, it's not really a government shutdown. Well, I don't know how to describe this for you today, because talking about their taking over, you see the Dow today, and we're not making this up, at 9:45 hit 45,452. It's down 600 points. At 2 p.m. was at 46,522. The Dow rallied up 1,070 points. And we'll stop there. Do you know why? Because Jay Powell took over again. That guy. Let me explain the latest. That Jay Powell that conjured up out of thin air up to $9 trillion now. He didn't start at zero. I think at that time was 3 or 4 trillion. Printed to $9 trillion. Took that conjured up money, not real money, and bought up the whole frickin' bond market, taking the 10-year yield down to 0.5%. Bought bonds with fake money, which, by the way, they're down a few $100 million on. And of course, that created the 3% mortgage, which created all the distortions in housing, the housing latest bubble, which Fantasyland is now coming down, and let's hope it's not too bad. And he did something right. Oh, by the way, and created and caused the inflation, and never really got the blame because not a politician, another politician gets nothing out of that. So he prints to $9 trillion, and they end up owning all these bonds. You know, you buy a 2-year bond, they pay you for 2 years, and then it matures. And then you have a choice to buy another bond or move on. So what they have been doing is they have not been buying new bonds with that fake money. They've been letting it roll off. So there's less fake money, which is actually a good thing. So I don't know what the number is, but it was up to 9 trillion. Let's say it's down to 7 trillion. They still have, believe it or not, a sickening amount, 7 trillion. And again, the takeover is, when did they ever get the power to do this crap? How did they ever get the power to do this? It's insanity. But I digress. They've been doing the right thing by letting it run off. So in other words, here's $50 billion of 2-year notes that they bought up to take it down to zero. and it now expires, it matures, and it's not really money, it's fake money they conjured up, and they just let it roll off. So their balance sheet is less, and that's good. Jay Powell announces today they're not going to let it roll off anymore, which means he's going to take that money, fake money, conjured up money, and reprint. And you know what reprinting is? Easier money and potentially good for our bond market. So the 10-year yield dropped again today, and the market rallied that 1,000 points off of, hey, the reprinting of money, which caused all kinds of distortions when all was said and done. But Wall Street doesn't hate it. Easier money has always been good for Wall Street. But I get back to my point. Taking over. Where did all these people get to the point where somebody can print a $9 trillion, where a government can run $2 trillion deficits, $1.2 trillion to interest, send the money to donors so they can create fake companies on climate, and God only knows the salaries they're taking and ducking to themselves? You ain't pissed yet? So we have Jay Powell going reprinting today, and that's how we had 1,000 points until Trump threatens again. And the Dow dropped 46,460, 250 points in 10 minutes. We'd still finished up 200 points today. That's good. We'll take it. Worst was first today, because as the 10-year yield comes down, guess what does better? Housing, travel, financials. And it was a wild day in financials. Goldman Sachs was down 40 on the open on their earnings. Then was only down 2, finished down 16. JP Morgan, I think at one time today, early in the morning, was down, to 294, was down $14. Then it was only down, it was flat, and then finished down 6 in the drop towards the end of the day. So we have so much of them still taking over everything that's going on, and it shouldn't be. We should be able to just do our thing, do great things, invent, create, work hard, upward mobility, success, and they are getting in the way even more. And now Jay Powell, again, another person with how did you get this type of power, is now going to stop the roll-off because he says blah, 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 blah is making him do it. He's seeing this and he's seeing that. And by the way, the guy's been wrong 99 out of 100 times. I guess he says things may be weakening and he's seeing this, that, and the other thing. So the market's at or near the highs, and he's reprinting money, which is going to create more bubbles, which means the crash is going to be even that worse when all's said and done. We're miffed. Up next, anything else we're miffed at? That's up next on this, the one and only Investor's Edge. So the latest is the president is accusing China of an economically hostile act for not buying U.S. soybeans. And what ended up happening, because China, so semiconductors dropped, things like NVIDIA took a little hit into the close. By the way, Bitcoin and crypto is weak right now. And by the way, that's that other part of the equation where I worry for you. This administration is all over this crypto thing, and that's all well and good, but There is no thought that Bitcoin dropped 75% in the last bear market. There is no thought that another bear market isn't going to happen. There is no thought now that more and more people are in it because the administration. There is no thought that there is nothing to back it up except it's a limited thingamabob, and the more people buy, the more it goes higher. But the last bear market was 75%, and I worry it could be worse going forward because there's so much leverage in it. And of course, the people at the investment banks and the brokerages now love it. And just remember, that's all about price. You need to know at the old highs, everybody was talking about, oh, we're going to have Bitcoin and we can buy cars and food and everything and this, that, and the other thing. And then it crashed, and all of a sudden nobody's talking about. You get my point. So there's so much of them with debt and deficits and central banks interfering and administrations taking positions in companies and families benefiting big time off of those industries, where we're seeing evident and obvious insider trading going on by the people we're supposed to be calling the leaders of this country, to the point where even they are saying they need to have some legislation that makes them stop trading. But of course, that's been talked about for 2 or 3 years and is never going to happen. And there shouldn't even need to be legislation. They should just stop being crooked. So we're a little bit miffed today because there was a lot of interference going on today in things they should not be interfering. And unfortunately, the man I love, President Trump, when you think you cannot do anything wrong, you just keep doing. And when I see a stock go up 100% today, that is just a development stage because they had a meeting with a president. That's a problem. Because if it's announced that no, there's not going to be any deal with that company, if that's what is announced, that stock that just went from $10 3 weeks ago to 72 today will be right back at $10, and somebody is going to have their arse if they don't trade out of it before it crashes. So I'm miffed. You think I'm wrong? I want to hear from you. I'm not wrong. It's much too much of them. And to think that every day 6 to 7 billion in debt. Have you seen gold? Which, by the way, we just made $55 on the GLD. Thought a top was in Thursday, and it's right back. Let's see, it's up another $10 since we sold. Actually, $12. Nice sell. Do you know why gold is going up? Think about it. We hope it's wrong. So I'm a little miffed today. But the Dow was up 200. I can tell you Caterpillar strong. I think that's part of the mining thing. I can tell you Goldman Sachs still finished down 16, but reversed 24. Actually, at one time, reversed $38 today, which, by the way, is like 230 Dow points. Remember, Goldman Sachs is almost 20 times more important to the Dow points than a Verizon in the Dow. If Verizon went to zero today, it would be 260 Dow points. If Goldman Sachs went to zero today, it would be 5,000 Dow points. That's what we mean by that. S&P Dow 10, but the NASDAQ, there was some icky in there. Some icky. And they hit the semis towards the close today because of the China thing. And who knows? Who knows? I am really in hopes that the rhetoric does not go too far and touches off trouble. I am in hopes. And remember what I said, sometimes when you think you're omnipotent and can do no wrong, that's when you're your most vulnerable. The man deservedly has gotten a lot of applause over the last week and a lot of credit. Rightfully so. And that's worrisome also, because that's when you're your most vulnerable. Don't you think? Human nature. Anything else that stuck out today? Well, it was revenge of the worst. Housing, airlines, cruise lines, transports, auto dealers. These are the areas we've been telling you to avoid for how long? They bounced today pretty good. Still in downtrends, but bounced pretty good today. Why? Reprinting of money and interest rates coming down. The Fed. Again, more of them. I want less of them. As always, we'll let you decide. Serenity now. You'll have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Until tomorrow and more of them. Have a good night. Bye-bye.